Have you ever wondered what animals really think about us? Not what we think they think, but what they actually see when they look at a human being. To a dog, you might be a trusted leader. To a cat, you're probably a giant, slightly incompetent roommate. To a crow, you're either a friend or a face they'll remember for years. And to a wild deer standing silently at the edge of a forest, you may be the most unpredictable creature on Earth. Animals don't see humans the way humans see themselves. They don't care about our jobs, our money, or our social status. They judge us by something much simpler: our behavior. And what scientists have discovered about how animals perceive humans is far stranger than most people realize. So what do animals actually think about us? The answer may change the way you see yourself forever. If dogs could describe humans in a single word, it might be this: predictable. For thousands of years, dogs have evolved alongside humans. In fact, some scientists believe dogs understand human emotions better than almost any other animal on Earth. A dog can often tell when you're happy, when you're stressed, and even when you're about to leave the house. To us, these abilities seem almost magical. But from a dog's perspective, they're simply paying attention. Every day, dogs study us. They learn our routines, the sound of our footsteps, the way we move, even subtle changes in our voice. Over time, they begin to predict our behavior with incredible accuracy. That's why many dogs seem to know exactly when their owner is coming home. Not because they can tell the future, but because they've become experts at understanding humans. To a dog, humans are often seen as providers, protectors, companions, the center of their social world. Some researchers even suggest that dogs form emotional bonds with humans that are remarkably similar to the bonds between young children and their parents. But perhaps the most fascinating thing is this: dogs don't care how successful you are. They don't care what car you drive, or how many people follow you online. To a dog, you're simply the person who matters, and that may be one of the purest forms of trust found anywhere in the animal kingdom. Cats, on the other hand, see humans very differently. Unlike dogs, cats were never fully shaped by thousands of years of cooperation with people. They joined human society on their own terms, and they still seem to live by those terms today. If you've ever owned a cat, you've probably noticed something strange. Cats don't always act like they need us. Sometimes they ignore us completely. Sometimes they stare at us for no apparent reason. And sometimes they suddenly sprint across the house at 3 in the morning like they've seen a ghost. For years, scientists wondered how cats truly perceive humans. The answer turned out to be surprisingly funny. Evidence suggests that cats don't seem to view humans as a completely separate species. Instead, they often treat us the same way they treat other cats. A very large, very strange cat. Think about it. Cats rub against our legs. They bring us gifts. Sometimes they even try to groom us. These are behaviors they normally show toward members of their own social group. In a cat's mind, you may not be its owner at all. You may simply be an oversized roommate who somehow controls the food supply. And while cats may appear independent, research shows many of them form strong emotional bonds with their humans. They can recognize our voices. They can become stressed when we're gone for long periods. And some cats even follow their owners from room to room, just like dogs do. The difference is that cats tend to hide their feelings better. So while your cat may act like it doesn't care about you, there's a good chance it's paying much more attention than you realize. If dogs are loyal and cats are mysterious, crows are something else entirely. They're intelligent. Extremely intelligent. In fact, crows are considered among the smartest animals on Earth. Some scientists compare their problem-solving abilities to those of young children. But what's truly remarkable isn't how smart they are. It's how they think about people. Imagine walking past a crow one morning. To you, it's just another bird. But to the crow, you're a face. A specific face. One it can remember. Research has shown that crows can recognize individual human faces and remember them for years. Not days, not weeks, years. And they don't just remember friendly humans. They remember the ones they consider dangerous too. In one famous study, researchers wore masks while capturing and releasing wild crows. Years later, those same masks still triggered alarm calls from the birds. Some crows would even warn other crows about the person they recognized. Think about that for a moment. A bird sees a human, remembers the face, stores the information, and shares it with others. In a way, crows have something that looks surprisingly similar to a social memory network. To a crow, humans aren't simply background objects moving through the world. We're individuals. Some are trusted, some are ignored, and some are remembered for a very long time, which means that somewhere out there, a crow might remember a human encounter long after the human has forgotten it. For wild animals, humans are something entirely different. Not family, not roommates, and not familiar faces. We're uncertainty. Imagine you're a deer standing quietly at the edge of a forest. Every sound matters. Every movement could mean danger. Survival depends on making the right decision at the right moment. Then, a human appears. The problem isn't that humans are predators. The problem is that humans are unpredictable. A wolf hunts when it's hungry. A bear usually wants food or space. But humans? Humans build roads through forests. Humans make loud noises. Humans carry strange objects. Sometimes humans feed animals. Sometimes they chase them away. Sometimes they protect them. And sometimes they destroy entire habitats. To many wild animals, humans are impossible to understand. We're the only species that can help and harm on a massive scale. This creates a unique kind of fear. Not the fear of being hunted, but the fear of uncertainty. Scientists studying wildlife often observe the same pattern. Animals spend far more time watching humans than humans realize. A deer may see you long before you see it. A fox may observe you from the shadows. A wolf may detect your presence from miles away. Most wild animals don't want conflict, they simply want information. Is this human safe, dangerous, predictable, or something entirely unknown? And perhaps that's how many wild animals see us. Not as monsters, not as heroes, but as the strangest creatures they have ever encountered. So what do animals actually think about humans? The truth is there isn't a single answer. A dog may see a trusted companion, a cat may see a giant, slightly awkward fellow cat, a crow may see a face worth remembering, and a wild animal may see a mystery it can never fully understand. But perhaps the most fascinating thing is this. Animals don't judge us the way humans judge each other. They don't care about our wealth, our appearance, our status, or our achievements. They pay attention to something much simpler: how we behave. Whether we're kind, whether we're dangerous, whether we're predictable, or whether we're a threat. In a strange way, animals often see a more honest version of who we are. Not the image we try to present to the world, but the actions we repeat every day. And maybe that's why people have always felt such a deep connection with animals. Because when an animal trusts you, it isn't impressed by your success. It isn't influenced by your reputation. That trust has to be earned, one interaction at a time. So the next time a dog looks up at you, a cat quietly watches you from across the room, or a crow studies you from a nearby tree, remember this: you may be looking at an animal, but at the very same moment, that animal is looking back at you and forming an opinion of its own.